Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speeder, and today we're going to be looking at NIGMA versus OG. This is game one between the two boys, and yeah, I just want to take a look at the performance. OG picking up the Chen, going for some really weird heroes. NIGMA, I would say keeping it a little more simple. They have, you know, just kind of like your simple life stealer, pretty basic mid in the Lina, basic offlaner, but I do like their draft. It's very basic, but OG ran them over. They ran them over with a draft with no, I would say no standard hero. Very meta heroes within the Axe, the Leshrac, but definitely not, I wouldn't say Willow is that meta. Not out of the meta, but Shen is way out of the meta, and Pango mid is not something you see too much. So I'm really curious to look at the draft, kind of get inside of their head, and hopefully share that information with you guys so we can learn more about the game. And let's get into it. And before we do, I just want to let you guys know that over on the website, we are posting so many videos right now. So many videos that are going to help you get to the next level and understand Dota on a new level that you just simply thought you could never get to. So if you feel stuck, you're on a losing streak, you don't know where to go, it's a really good solution. Go to the website. It's going to help you, yes you, get to the next level. Okay, let's get into the game. Alright, so getting into it, OG, they started off with the Axe. This is very standard right now. I mean, frankly, there's a lot of teams with this mentality of like, hey, if we can get the Axe, we're just going to pick the Axe. This hero can play the off lane, it can play the safe lane. It can be a space creator with Blink, or it can be a farming hero with Manta. It's very versatile and it has a strong laning stage, so people like it. NIGMA going for kind of a, I'm going to say a weird opener. I mean, I have seen a lot, and I mean a lot more Lina as of late. People just seem to be really wanting to pick for the lanes. And Lina has really shot back into the meta. At least it seems like it to me. This hero is a mid and a position 4. And sometimes, I'm going to keep it real with you guys, I think a lot of the times things will actually come back into the meta because people just like to play it. I know that sounds crazy, but I actually believe there's some truth behind that. I don't think that's the full truth, but I actually think there's some truth behind that. I think people like playing Lina, but the major reason is likely just because she's a good laner. And a lot of teams seem to be playing this very high tempo Dota. These are high tempo heroes. Almost no cooldowns, right? Highest cooldown 45, highest cooldown what, 60? So you can play very fast and explode people. OG going for a bit of a weird pick, the Willow. I will say that this hero inherently is good against Hoodwink from what I've seen because you can dodge Bushwhack with your W. At least I think that's how it works. And so that matchup's good in that regard. And you can get on top of Lina if Lina's a core. Lina can explode you, so to be fair, both of these matchups kind of go either way, but if Dark Willow can play around it as a bunch of frontliners, the damage you provide is really nice. Bans, we see an Alk ban, so NIGMA respecting the OG Alk. We see a Timber, Invoker, Io, the Io respect ban for Enigma's very common Io pick for GH. Love to see that. The Winter Wyvern comes out. I am a fan of Wyvern against Axe. I just think it's a very simple idea. Whoever he calls, you cold embrace. Because, like, the thing is, sometimes against these, like, chain stun comps or, like, heavy stuns, which we kind of see here, you pick, like, an Abaddon or an Oracle, but you can't purge Axe's taunt. Like, even Tidehunter, Tide's countered by Axe, because you can't purge the taunt, right? You can't crack and shell it off. And so Wyvern, in my opinion, is a better answer where, okay, they get called, and for the duration of the call, you just freeze them, and it completely counteracts the call duration. And even to some extent, whoever Willow goes on, you can heal. It's like, okay, sure, it doesn't prevent any of Willow's damage, but with the Holy Locket, it basically just counters all of it out. And so, if not more. And so I like this pick. It's just a meta hero. I like it. The only thing I will say about this Wyvern pick that I think is a little bit weird is it does basically scream this Lina's mid, right? Because obviously this, you know, not really gonna have a Hoodwink core. At least I don't think you would. I don't like it personally, so yeah, I was a little bit, it was a bit weird to me. And then OG basically says here, at least how I see this is, we just want to out-tempo you. You have a bunch of backline heroes. We want to get on top of you. I like Pango against Wyvern because you can just get their backline. However, you do have to be careful because Wyvern can freeze you in your ult. The thing is, very often Pango plays away from his team in team fights, or at least he can. And so, like, sometimes you won't get frozen next to people, right? And if Wyvern freezes people near you and you're in your ball, you don't actually go and hit them. So it once again, it goes both ways, but I kind of like this more so for Pango, only because of the fact that you just want to disrupt these like backline, throw long range spells at you team comps. Like, that's what I see here. They're just going to try to chill in the back and then pick two frontliners and then just chuck nukes at you and autos. So let's see what they do. Because I actually forget the last two heroes they picked, which is good. We can see if my theory is right. Okay, Mars, there you go. Right, so, yeah, it's funny. I know I said it at the beginning of this video, I just blanked out. But the Mars makes a lot of sense, right? Gotta protect these backliners. And I wouldn't say Mars is good against Pango. At least I don't think it is. You just kind of ignore Mars for the most part. It's very hard to spear Pango, so I don't love that. I think it's mediocre against Axe at best. I think it's good against Willow, to be fair. You can spear her when she's in Shadow Realm. But I don't like love this Mars pick. I think this is them kind of just picking the hero they think is good for the lane, really. I think this is mostly a lane pick. It's really good with Hoodwink in the lane, even though I don't actually think that's what they run. I think they run Wyvern Mars, which is also a pretty good lane. But then OG goes for the Leshrac. I like this here, right? I like it. It's an OG classic. They pick this for Sumail constantly. I shouldn't call it a classic, not Sumail hasn't been on the team for a while. But, like, they really like it. It's a great lane against Mars. It's good against these, like, type of Mars lanes that when you walk up for a CS, punish you really hard. Because Leshrac inherently does not have to walk up for CS. He can stay much further away. And so he's much, much, much better in these lanes than a hero like PA or Ursa or Terrorblade, even to some extent. And finally, for the last pick for OG, they go for the Chen, which was very odd. I mean, NIGMA does have a lot of burst damage, so, right? Burst, even burst to some extent. So Chen's good against the burst, right? He can heal through it. And, he can get that mech off, get the Hand of God off, save someone through the burst. It's really nice with Leshrac, because obviously Leshrac is a hero that hates burst damage. And then, NIGMA finishes it off with the Lifestealer, which I thought was a great Lifestealer pick. However, I will say, even though it makes a lot of sense, I will say that I do think it's somewhat hard for him to stay on a target this game. What I mean by that is, like, it's a good Lifestealer game because OG doesn't really do any damage to Lifestealer when Rage is up, but I don't think it's a great Lifestealer in the regard that Axe buys a bunch of items that Lifestealer doesn't like, such as Manta and Vanguard and BKB. Pango just kind of ignores Lifestealer altogether. Pango, I would even argue, is good against Lifestealer because even though, like, he can purge his disarm and not get hit chain stun by the ulti necessarily, Rage runs out, right? And Pango is very low cooldown, so he's gonna disarm you and stun you usually at some point. Leshrac buys a bunch of kite items. Willow, you can't really hit that easily. And Chen buys, like, mech force staff. So, what I mean is they don't really have a hero that's just gonna want to buy, like, a hood and a bunch of just straight up DPS heroes that don't buy kite items. Like, even their carry buys kite items, so that would be my biggest concern. Hindsight is 2020. OG does win this game, so obviously it's easier for me to say that, but I do believe that is actually a thing. Like, for instance, I think Chen is actually good against Storm Spirit, which might seem really weird. It's like, how is Chen good against Storm Spirit? It's because Storm, in my opinion, does a very limited amount. It's like, later into the game, even mid-game, it's like a very set amount of damage. Like, Storm does, like, let's say 1500 damage. If Chen can heal, 700 on someone, Storm's just gonna die because he's gonna run out of mana over committing. And that's what I like about Chen. And I think Chen can work against Lifestealer in that regard as well. Lifestealer, while he doesn't do a set amount of damage, he does a set amount of damage during Rage, which there's some legitimacy to. So, yeah, let's see how this game plays out. I'm very excited to watch this game and break it down for you guys, and let's get into it. So the lane I was most curious about in this game was actually the mid lane, but I also think this Leshrac versus Mars lane is a very interesting one as well, for the fact that, as I said, I think Lesh is a good response pick to this lane, because, as I said, heroes die to this combo when they have to walk up too far. Even here, like, it's a little bit sketchy, where Sumail has to go. I guess he knows that Mars, considering all these creeps are XP for Mars is not even close to 2. Sumail knows that, and he knows he has Rebuke, so he probably thinks, like, okay, I can't get chain stun. But very often, this is where a hero could get punished against this combo, and you'd have to be very careful. But you can see Sumail on the Leshrac can contest very easily, as a result just of the nature of his hero, right? You can see he can even harass Mars a ton, really nice stun, great harass, really well played, super clean stuff from Sumail. But yeah, this lane, you see them pick this Pango into Lina. This is not a good matchup. At least, as far as I'm concerned, this is not fun for Pango. At least I don't see how it could be. I mean, he almost just died to a dragon slave. So, yeah, you can see Miracle's even trying to snipe him. Oh my god, this is such a mess. So he gets the bottle, has to go for the water rune, does get it. Yeah, what a mess. So, I mean, I know for a fact Hobson's a player who likes to play weird matchups. I mean, he plays very weird heroes, he plays in a weird style, but this just looks horrible. And it doesn't get better. Like, that's one thing to know. As far as I'm concerned, it gets better when you hit 6 and can gank the Lina plus Willow, right? That's when, in my opinion, this matchup's good. I think Pango's good against Lina in the mid game, because of the fact that, your hero inherently counters these, like, chillin' backliners. I guess just based on water runes and banners, he can sustain, but he's definitely not winning the lane. Yeah, so he's quite a bit behind, but that's the thing, you know, one thing I will say about Dota that we can take out of this and that we can learn is that the meta definitely allows, and just the way the game is right now, 100% allows for these bad matchups to not be nearly as bad. Pango in old patches, I don't think could really play against Lina at all. But the fact that you just get like 18 bottle charges for some crazy reason just allows you to, it just allows you to play the lane, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Even going on Miracle, oh my god. Did he know, did Lina miss a stun? Is that why he pounced on her? Oh no, he didn't. She didn't. He just went in. What a psycho. Moving to the other sides of the map, Sumail seems to be doing quite well. The Chen's a really low level. Okay, no, yeah, Sumail's doing quite well, okay. So, this is kind of how you expect this matchup to go. The CS is probably about even, though. No, Mars actually only has 18, so Mars is actually getting, I'm not gonna say dumpstered, but, you know, closer to dumpstered than doing well. So, Sumail popping off, you know, 1k ahead. This is kind of how you want these starts to be. Axe is also, wow, oh my god. So the biggest crush here was bottom. Did Lifestealer die? Really? Really? Wow, how did this happen? Okay, so lane's pretty standard. Axe is obviously gonna rush a Vanguard, you know. Nothing too crazy there. Pretty standard build on the Axe, the 0-1-2. Very normal. Seb's just continuing to cut the waves, seemingly just playing for his Vanguard timing, not looking to do anything. Oh my god. I actually cannot believe that. I think ILTW is even shocked that he died here. Because he goes on Seb, this looks like pretty decent, you know, you're trading off the wave, it was a 2v1 to initiate the fight, but yeah, it just wasn't even close. I mean, it literally was not even close. I guess Soxa got a little bit low, but okay, I mean, just a complete damage miscalculation. It almost seemed like, I mean, to be honest, what I'll say there is ILTW seems very unsure. Does he play a lot of this hero? Oh my god. So he just completely overestimated his damage. And now at this point with the Vanguard, you can see Seb's going in. Because Lifestealer does not have proper sustain yet, right? Lifestealer, it's really funny because the hero seems like it would just always be able to sustain based on the fact that it's like, you know, called Lifestealer. But that's really not the case. It's really, really not the case. So now he's just going to start cutting waves, and wow, what an incredibly good start for Seb here. Also immediately cutting the waves. Oh, he lost a creep. Damn, that was a bit of grief. Wow, okay, biggest difference here is 100% the safe lane. Because they picked, right? They picked the Lifestealer into the Axe, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing. This is why people are first picking Axe. If you get good at this hero, you know how to play around the Battle Hunger, when to cast it at the right times, when you can commit in with your spins into waves and things like that. You can just win these, like, seemingly unfavorable matchups. So, huge. Absolutely massive. And on top of that, because of the nature of Axe, what's really good here is the fact that, you know, Axe doesn't need help. And to be fair, Lifestealer doesn't really either. Like, Seb's probably not going to just go and solo kill him. But because of the nature of Axe, the Willow's able to just spend a little bit of time getting some stacks up and farming, which is huge. So he's going to get some crazy good time. Did he buy a blink? Oh, so he's looking to make plays. Okay. So he wants to make plays. They're probably even going to pop a smoke here. Willow 6, Axe Blink Dagger. This is a very common smoke. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I think he was even lingering to pop one. Maybe it's on Courier or something like that. He seems to be waiting. There it is. Okay. And you can see, like, this is what I mean, guys, which, like, you have to be able to immediately have these timings. I even think OG was really slow here. I mean, that took them literally almost more, it was almost more than half a minute. I think it was more than half a minute to pop the smoke, but this is like a really nice play. You hit this Lesh 10. This Lesh is like super farmed. Oh my god, he's rushing. Oh, I hate this build so much. I hate this Eternal Shroud Rush. Alright, whatever. We'll move on. You know, Sumail's pretty freaking good at this hero, so I'll assume he knows something I don't. But yep, it's going to be a free kill on the GH. Very easy rotation into the kill. They're going to scout out for other rotations, so they are going to go on to Sumail here. However, I think they have Hand of God. Yeah, there's the Hand of God, which is why this matchup's good for Lash. So you pop out the Hand of God. And they're just kiting them out super hard right now. Sumail did overcommit a little bit there. But they got the tower. It seems like it actually was a net win for NIGMA, right? They were actually, because they were behind more on net worth. Wow, nice curse. Great combo. Why is OG still here? I mean, I know it's OG and they just love to keep going. Like, why would they, what did they go back in on? It was a nice curse, to be fair. That was like The axe got just tipped by that curse. I mean, just barely clipped. Beautiful curse, but I don't know. That's just like typical OG, man. No one was low besides the Mars, I thought. It's like, maybe you'll get a Mars kill, who's like the most underfarmed hero in their team, core, obviously. Okay. I don't know. Man, I've just been watching OG in these qualifiers. I just keep seeing them overcommit, and sometimes it works. Like, it's like the OG style, right? You don't want to, like, let's say I was their coach. I wouldn't want to tell them, like, hey, guys, you know, stop diving, because that's what they're known for, and that's what they're comfortable, and they've won TIs doing this type of stuff. You know, trusting their instinct and just making out plays. So I definitely would keep doing it if I was them. I think they just need more time to continue to figure out their limits and play around it. But okay, another nice gank onto the Lifestealer. Let's actually see how they made that play. What was the read that allowed them to pick up this Lifestealer? Because he's not having nearly as good of a game as you want. He only has 5k net worth. He's way behind Samel, who's the other carry. So they just saw him farming top. Is this just a basic rotation? Really? Okay, so I love what they do. So the key thing here, though, is the scan. You guys see how they pop down this scan? Why do they do this? Because this is very, very important, because a lot of people would fall for a bait play here, assuming there is a bait play. Because they're like, oh, it's Lifestealer, we can easily kill him, just call him into a Willow ulti, into a Willow, into a Bedlam, and it's a free kill. Which is true, if he's alone. They're doing it because they want to scan for the Wyvern. The Wyvern's the key here. Hoodwinked is important too, but it's mostly the Wyvern, right? Because he's going to heal the Lifestealer when he gets gone on, potentially, and set up a curse, a counter initiation curse, like right here. You just curse the axe. But, so there was someone there now. Who was it? Is Mars. Oh, what an anti-combo, actually. Man, the Mars cut down all the trees and Willow ultied. That's actually crazy. I mean, Willow threw a bushwhack, but Mars cut down all the trees, so it didn't hit anybody. Not that it would have mattered. He would have died anyway. Yeah, really weird setup from OG. I feel like Wyvern's the key hero there, and that was the only hero that wasn't there. Besides Delina, who, you know, you generally want to be pushing in waves and farming. So, kind of bizarre. Lina going for the BKB rush. I actually like this build. I think this hero just, like, can't play without BKB, especially against Pango and Lesh and Willow. So, I like it. Does he live? No. Okay. So good plays. They actually smoke. Wow, really weird play. They're gonna even keep going after breaking on the hill. So they must have thought people were like taking Ancients, because this is a worthless kill. What is the value in making that play after the smoke broke? Maybe they just thought the Ancients were there? That just seems like such a weird play, because you're not farming the entire time. Now you have like two heroes farming the same portion of the map who have to retreat to nothing. Very odd play. They must have thought there were stacks there. That had to be what it was, because I don't understand why you would do that otherwise. So, because like a big portion of this meta is 100% Ancient stacks, especially if I have like, if I'm against Pango Axe, you know, even Lesh, then I'm probably gonna do that. Good TP. Pango making a ton of space. Axe going bottom, actually hunting this Wyvern full out. Yeah, I was gonna say, definitely curse. GH buying a lot of time here. This is good from, really nice from GH. Tried to TP out, couldn't get it. Still a ton of space, a lot of space for the Lina. Unfortunately, Hoodwink died on the other side of the map. To who? Oh, to Soxa. He died earlier. I guess I just didn't see it. So Sumail now going into the Yashikaya, which I think is very standard. I think if you're gonna go Eternal Shroud Rush, in my opinion, it's an absolute necessity if you're gonna buy Eternal Shroud to have a Sanj Kaya. I see people buying Eternal Shroud without Sanj Kaya. I don't know, I just want to vomit in my mouth. Like, the thing is, because Eternal Shroud doesn't inherently give you HP, which is why I like the fact that he's taking stats. I actually theory crafted this build myself, which is why you guys know I'm the best player in the world, right? I'm rank 1. But I theory crafted this build myself. Wow, he even leaves this at freaking level 3. That's so weird. I don't even think it's necessarily bad, it's just weird. Besides the point, the reason why I don't like it is if we read Sanj and Kaya, it's just the best item with Eternal Shroud. Now, you know, some games you might feel like you need a BKB or a Yules, but it gives you a ton of int, gives you status resist, so you can actually get off the Eternal Shroud without getting bursted, which in my opinion is a big deal. It gives you a ton of mana regen and mana, which Eternal Shroud is okay at. It's not the best mana item, considering it's pretty hard to use it if you're just farming. And the big things, though, are the spell lifesteal amplification, 30% and 16% spell amp. And so you all in on spell amp. You have 20% spell amp for Eternal Shroud, a ton of spell amp from Kaya Sanj, and then you amp it all by 30%. So essentially you're like, I think it's almost double the spell amp. I don't know the exact numbers. I just can tell you for a fact from playing this a lot, it feels really good, it feels super nice, and it gives you enough mana to sustain. Bottle. Yeah, I thought he wasn't gonna bottle. So like if you're playing Bristle or whatever, just please keep it in mind. If you're gonna go this item, please buy Kaya Sanj. Bloodstone is okay as well. I just prefer the Kaya Sanj for the status resist. I think it allows you to straight up frontline, which is what this build does in my opinion. I think this build is optimized for frontlining, which I like on Leshrac. I think you kind of want to go this build. I'm a big fan of it. But okay, team fight happening. Let's see what goes on. So they find out, oh my god, what is this call? How did this happen? How does he just get a two-man call into arguably the two most important heroes? Well, let's say Wyvern's probably a little bit better than they just showed. So that's a huge initiation. Really nice curse. Good reset curse. Let's watch this from the perspective of Sumail. Just a really nice reset curse. They get the stun out as well into the Pango. Trying to burst him before he can get his ulti off. Doesn't happen. The Chen sustain. That's what I'm talking about, baby. As the Chen sustain gets his ulti off, now he can bottle through this. Oh no. Okay, he didn't water bottle. Unfortunate, but looks like they're just dead. So I'm guessing another call comes in. Sep! Sep! Oh no, he just solo calls the Lina. They just get exploded. Oh my god. Oh, the damage. You see, Sumail's just straight up full HP. They tried to ignore him. They tried to burst the Pango, which makes sense. Because if you don't burst Pango and you go on Lesh, he's just going to get saved by his other teammates. But you can see, this build has so much mana problems. This is only... It's the issue. Pre the Kaya, man, you have so much mana problems. Like, it's really, really rough. Keep it as an int Vambrace for that reason. Like, usually if you're playing Lesh, from my experience, you want to keep Vambrace on strength. But he clearly feels like he needs the mana, and he probably just feels like he's tanky enough. Which kind of makes sense. Okay, so now OG's going for a mid play. They find a call onto the Lifestealer. Really nice combo. This is what I was talking about with Pango being kind of good against Wyvern because, you know, if someone else gets cursed, it just doesn't work. I'm assuming GH meant to curse Topson but misclicked. That had to be what that was because you 100% want to curse the Pango there. Surely that's just a misclick, right? No, he definitely meant to curse the illusion, which is definitely just a misplay because he doesn't have a Lincolns or anything, right? Yeah, it's just bad. You 100% need to curse Pango there. Just a bit of I think it's just a bit of oversight from GH because obviously he's now going to get stuck out of position because the Pango is able to stun him. Really nice. Now Sumail can run him down. Gotta love No Tail's impact. He's just like, so here's the funniest part about playing 5 when you just like stand still. You're like, hey guys, I'm helping. I'm doing my job. My units are in the back providing you with 3 armor and some damage. I swear I'm helping. Okay, so now OG, they have this Aegis. I think they want to just continue to contain the map. So typically what you do when you have Aegis at this point in the game is you just start running around with your Aegis hero onto high grounds with your team behind you. So you can see he's not going to do it yet. His team clearly wants to get in the waves first. So Seb, who's actually the carry of this game, basically 12k net worth, higher than the Leshrac, is going to be pushing in the top wave. So he's going to shove in top. Leshrac's going to shove in mid. Pango's going to try to shove in bottom. He almost got caught. But I like this, right? Pango's going to shove in the most dangerous wave. Why? Because Pango is the most sustainable. You always want to shove the most dangerous lane with your carry. Now, the most dangerous lane, just for everyone to fully understand this, it's not necessarily the quote-unquote dead lane. The dead lane, that's more of like an early game concept. The dead lane is of the late game is more based around just where the heroes are. Where are they? And so if they're in their base and there's a wave here and a wave here, this is the more dangerous lane, right? Because they can get from their base to here much quicker than to here. And so, right, that's the idea you have to consider there when it comes to like what's the more dangerous lane. It's not just like the enemy off lane, right? Or your safe lane. That's a nice call. Oh my god. Is this enough? Doesn't seem like they're doing enough damage. I kind of like this Lifestealer Lina combo. He's just like chilling in Lina. At the same time, your carry is just not technically doing anything. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit weird. ILTW, I mean, he's so underfarmed. Oh my god. Dude, I'd feel so bad if I was this Lifestealer. Like, he just doesn't do anything. I mean, look at this damage. It's so sad. He's better off just staying in Lina, I think. I mean, look at this. Man, that's just sad. Like, it's so funny because this happens to Lifestealer a lot, and that's what I was kind of talking about. Like, If this hero falls behind, it just runs out of damage. Like, Lifestealer really has a problem with this. Lifestealer, in my opinion, does best when he hits about that 3-4 item timing. Typically when you get like AC plus Scotty or something like that, and you have a little bit of attack speed and anti-heal to really abuse your feast. All right, you can kind of just run in YOLO. Man, he never really gets to that timing. And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, it's very hard for him even to just burst down the heroes. Like, the Pango can always kite away from him. Axe just has natural tanky items. So I thought he would have a much better game. I feel like he even definitely didn't expect to die first blood to Axe. Not that that instantly screwed his game, but even with the Lina on your team, you have a mid who naturally is going to soak space, which kind of seemed to be a bit of a grief this game. The Lina is 100% going to like soak a huge majority of space. That's what this hero does. It shoves waves, right? And so with the kind of a hero that needs waves to function, it seems like a bit of an anti-combo. I'm not saying you can't win with these two heroes together, you know, because both of them are lane dominators in the right matchups. So if you both win your lanes, you're just going to farm your lanes and be fine. But he kind of lost his lane, and then OG sort of started to close down on the map, and it seems like they just couldn't get their farm up because he's 100 CS below Samel. But all in all, let's spend the last portion of this video seeing what NIGMA does to try to turn this game around. At least I think they... Yeah, so this game goes another 7 minutes. Let's see what they do in these really losing scenarios. So what should you do as a player when you get into like really dire straits, when you think there's nothing to do left? So first things first, I like what Mind Control's doing. This might remind you guys of a specific Titan performance where Mucky King proceeded to slaughter him over and over again. However, it's still the right play, right? I think a lot of people might have remembered that TI8 like clip from True Sight where the Tidehunter's like gets chased down and dies anyway. But that was the right play. Like, if there's nothing to do and your team can't fight, you have to bait rotations and try to create numbers advantages by forcing multiple TPs. That's like, I mean, really, sometimes that's your best option. Also, he just got his BKBs, so that's obviously a huge timing as well. Definitely feels like the Mars. I don't know, man. Mars, this hero's weird. I think it needs to dominate lane to do well, and that's why I love this Lesh pick. The Lesh Chen, because Mars is a chip you down hero. He doesn't really kill you full to nothing a lot of the time. He does like half your HP in a combo, and a lot of heroes just die to the next combo or 3 combos. And yeah, that's just not what happened here. So I love the Chen Lesh pick as a response to this Mars. I thought it made a lot of sense. Especially considering it's not like they could lane swap. I don't think you want to lane Lifestealer against Lesh. That seems not good either. Yeah, the Lesh being good against melee hero in lane. Okay, so yeah, what is NIGMA gonna do? What's their play? So, oh no, they found Axe. You know, sometimes finding Axe pre-BKB is okay. Oh, he does have BKB. Can they burst him? Okay. Let's look at this. Let's see how they executed on this. This is good. Let's see what they do. So they were posturing. Looks like they don't have any smokes. Oh no, they do. So they must have smoked, right? No, they didn't. They're just playing on the ward. You can see, okay, you see how GH is pinging this ward? He's basically saying, hey guys, play on this ward. Right, stick on the ward. The only opportunity they're going to have is to get a jump on that ward. So you can see to some extent they're afraid of OG having some deep ward they don't see because he's backing up really far. You even see the blink out there. Seb going kind of sicko mode here. Seb gets jumped. It's a nice jump. It's a good target if you can explode him. Clearly they can. So they get that out. It did force multiple BKBs and a huge set of spells. So Samel's actually going to go in anyway. I kind of would like to see OG just run away here. I feel like it's kind of pointless to fight. They easily could have just disengaged. But they're going to go in anyway. Definitely like a weird fight. Let's watch this from free camera, see how it plays out. So they do have the curse. That's going to be the X factor here. Can they curse Pango if he rolls? Oh, he already rolled. Oh, that's a nice curse. That's going to kill the Willow. This is a huge fight. But then, what the? How did Lifestealer die? Guess he just tried to man up and died. Didn't he get Wyvern healed too? So he did a good job of repositioning so he could get healed. How does he die? Oh my god. Dude, the Willow's level 18? What in the world? Isn't that really high? Oh, maybe not. No, it is really high. Oh, he's 6-0. Oh my god. Dude, he's max Bedlam. I'm like, what is doing this much damage? He also took the Bedlam damage. Holy, that is so much damage. That is nutty. I mean, I don't really know if Willow's necessarily a counter to Wyvern, but because like sometimes I feel like if, you know, Willow isn't having this good of a game and can't, like, very often people are like, okay, magic counters Wyvern, but at the same time, if you commit like onto a someone who's frozen by Wyvern as a Willow, very often you're kind of just gonna die yourself, right? And so that's why this isn't really necessarily, in my opinion, like some crazy counter pick. But here, like, cause right, the Lina can get out the stun, but it just didn't matter. I mean, it was absolutely just a Willow solo kill. I mean, he died to the Willow. No, okay, so Mel did a little bit, obviously. You know, I'll give him some props, but wow. That's crazy. Still seems like a decent fight. They get on top of Lina. She has no BKB. She's super dead. Once again, the Wyvern heal is just not enough. They have answers to it, even though it is, you know, it is maxed out. It is the Holy Locket. It's just simply not enough, which is crazy. Like, every time I see this Wyvern heal with Holy Locket, it always seems to do more than you'd expect and always out-heal the damage you would expect to go through it. That was just not the case this game. 100% was not the case this game. By the way, Notel picking up the shard on Chen. So if you guys don't know what it is, you can use Holy Persuasion on teammates and send them back to base after 6 seconds. I do believe it can be purged, but there's no purges, are there? There's no purges, so yeah. They go on him, they try to burst him, but he gets sent home, which is why he actually went in, which he almost killed him. Dude, Topson is such a psycho, man. Like, which you kind of gotta love about him, even though it's like the pro scene, and this was the case ever since he, you know, started winning TI, or probably even before then. I just hadn't obviously watched him, like most people hadn't. He just goes in, like he's always trying to push his limits, which in my opinion is one of the reasons, it's a huge reason why anyone can get to a high rank. If you aren't pushing your limits and you're not taking chances, you're not gonna get to high rank. Like if you're just AFK farming on your side of the map, you're not gonna get anywhere. If you're not like in team fights, if you're just like chilling in the back, which I actually find myself doing maybe a little bit more than I should, and not committing it with your team. And that's not to say like sometimes in Dota, you're playing a backliner. It doesn't mean you should run in 24/7. There's obviously times where you shouldn't just YOLO in. But he takes his chances on like even stupid stuff like that recall play. I kind of respect it. I think sometimes he takes it too far, which, you know, is easy to say. That's the whole thing about pushing limits. Of course, you're going to take it too far sometimes, but yeah. I just think it's cool, and it's something for you guys to even somewhat be inspired by and say, okay, you know, I should make some crazy plays. I should try to solo kill people mid, even if it gets me killed, right? I should try. So Mars gets gone on. Oh my god, that damage. He has BKB, right? I can't even get it off. Beautiful stun stacking from OG. Not stun stacking, stun, whatever you call it, stun splitting. I guess stun stacking. No, stun stacking is correct. He couldn't get his BKB off on Axe. I mean, on Mars. He just dies. This is what I was talking about with like the Pango is just really good against these like backline spam spells that you comps because he's just so disruptive. You can see his build is even designed to disrupt the backline, which I absolutely love. A lot of people might have won like Maelstrom Diffusal or something like that. I love the fact that he just goes like this tanky, I'm just gonna go mess with your backline build, and that's exactly what these items do. Nice Force Staff. There, oh, the Chen heal. Oh, dude, Chen, I don't know if this hero is good. I will say that I love mech Chen. It's just so much healing. And it's really easy for Chen to get mech because he can actually farm, contrary to other supports. I kind of liked it. I don't know. I kind of like the Chen. Solar Crest and Force Staff are in a good spot right now. Solar Crest in particular. So, I don't know. I kind of like it. You just need other teamfight heroes. Like, you need other heroes with, you need like a Pango, you need an Axe, you need other stunners. Like, I love the fact that his teammates are basically all stuns. Because otherwise, I don't think I'd be too much of a fan. But yeah, once again, I don't know. I haven't been seeing this Lina mid win. Every time I've watched it, I feel like it loses, but maybe I just have some bad bias. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is very free-flowing analysis. This is kind of just what I like to do for my own self, to like get my own ideas for drafting and picking and just meta in general, and even for what I might pick in my pubs and how I'm going to play certain lanes and certain matchups and certain picks against certain heroes. But hopefully you feel the same way. I had a ton of fun making this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.